Kamala had a lot of nothing to say recently about the position she took when casting her vote, and I find it pathetic. So take a look at this clip, and this is what I'm talking about.
We are one day away from polls closing, and voters still don't know where Vice President Harris stands on key issues. So much so that Axios is now labeling Harris the no comment candidate. Just yesterday, she refused to say whether she voted for or against a tough on crime measure in California. Watch.
So my ballot is on its way to California, and I'm going to trust the system that it will arrive there. And I am not going to talk about the vote on that because, honestly, it's the Sunday before the election, and I don't intend to create an endorsement one way or another around it. But I did vote.
So here's the issue I have with her avoidance. It just highlights the exact reason why Kamala impresses absolutely no one, and why this election is still so close. It's her pure cowardice. So it's pretty obvious, but let me explain why she's refusing to comment on her voting positions. Instead of trying to inspire people to vote for her, she's just doing her best to not offend anyone. You can't be an effective president if you aren't willing to take a stand. You can be a semi-popular politician while functioning like a total coward, but you can't be a competent leader. Taking a stand and showing people what you're really ready to work for and sacrifice for is what rallies people to you. So what we can deduce from Kamala's cowardice is that she's unwilling to fully commit herself to anything that might make her unpopular. And ironically, that personality defect inevitably leads to you becoming less popular. Her cowardice reveals that her core strategy is to just make herself look less bad than Trump. How can you inspire anyone to want to vote for you with that kind of attitude? Sure, Kamala might win against Donald Trump simply because people are afraid he's worse, but you won't be capable of inspiring people to vote for you or to keep you around during the next election cycle. So in the process of just trying to not piss people off, she has lost opportunity after opportunity to show our country that she is capable of being more effective than her competition. So I'm really frustrated with the Democrats right now, but my next criticism applies to the Republicans too. Because all either party had to do to completely dominate this election was simply put someone forward who was just semi-reasonable. Think about it. We've got the most controversial candidates of all time on the right, and on the left we've got Biden and Kamala, which have basically impressed nobody. They're possibly the two most uninspiring, wishy-washy candidates we've ever had. All the Republicans or Democrats had to do to completely sweep this election was offer us someone slightly reasonable, slightly more inspiring, slightly less cowardly, slightly more moderate, and neither Trump or Kamala would have been able to compete with whoever that replacement might have been. And that leads into the last bit of my soapbox monologue here. So, America, how do you expect things to ever get better when you are playing by the rules of politicians? Our politicians are absolutely in love with the two-party voting system because it tells them that they can put forward just about any piece of crap candidate in their pocket and will continue to vote for them out of the fear of the other party winning. And by continuing to vote for these idiots using that logic, you then allow your party to become increasingly infiltrated by worse and worse idiots. So I'm ending this video with these three questions. Number one, at what point does voting for the lesser evil simply become equal to voting for prolonged evil? Number two, if you believe that voting for the lesser evil can potentially reach a point where it does nothing but prolong evil, what symptoms in society would you look for to determine if we were reaching that point? And number three, do you recognize any of those symptoms in our country right now? Please like and subscribe and provide your responses in the comments.